Hello everyone, how good of you to join. Welcome back to, well, my huge collier that we have right now that is in the old world, completely, well, undefended, but that is absolutely not necessary because, well, we absolutely don't need to defend it because it's got the white flag on board. And boy, was I surprised when I sent this guy here over to Archie. So Archie Blake, right, we haven't been there in quite some time now, and Archie is selling a lot of very interesting items that we need in order to conquer Beza, in order to conquer Africa. Let's just have a look at what he's got, what new stuff he has. First of all, he's got the heat exchanger and the plate exchangers. There we have two more items that I haven't seen yet, and these are affecting steamships with 30% hit point increase and damage slowdown minus 100%. So battleships no longer will be getting slower when they get damaged. Also, their hit points, which is already really huge, is getting boosted by another 30%. Lovely. Also, the reinforced bulkhead equips for all ships another 40% hit points, and also damage from cannons and big berthas is reduced by 25%. Another very cool item that I have never used before, and I'm totally baffled how I could oversee that. And then we got two more interesting items here. Both are the same actually, but just different rarities. This one here is the re-rendering. It's not the same item, sorry. It's for the trade unions, and it's affecting our chemical plants, all of them, for shampoos and for the souvenirs. And this one is increasing productivity, plus it's also producing extra saltpeter, tallow and dynamite on top of that. Lovely, absolutely fantastic, really, for all of these things. So these items, I can already see, are going to be very helpful. And helpful for what? For this one here. Basically, we have now gathered 8 battleships together. There they are in all their glory. They're going to wait now for some items to come in. Some of them already have items, right? So like this one here has already items that are boosting them, that we got loot from loot outside. But I'm going to send my huge collier over here now, and I'm going to boost these bad boys. And then, well, then we will have to have a lot of fighting ahead of us in Beza, where basically the main forces of Bente are somewhere here in the fog. I can't see them right now, but as we know from the last episode, yes, they're here, and we need to take back Tabarim. And look at that, she's already building up some defenses there. That snake, I don't believe it, really. Taking Tabarim, that was a huge shock for me. Now, while we wait for the big boom that is eventually going to happen, yes, let's continue with Crown Falls itself. And yes, I know I have been neglecting the skyscrapers. I was actually waiting until we have scholars in the city. And I know some of you are very impatient for those skyscrapers. And it absolutely makes sense because it's a very long DLC, the skyscrapers, that we should implement. With them, we have lots of new systems that are going to be implemented in the background that need some time to develop anyway. So it just makes sense to also get the skyscrapers now into Crown Falls. That I would like to do. There we have them. We could basically upgrade all of them. Well, actually quite a few of them, right? We could do that, and we need to decide very carefully where we should have the first skyscrapers. So let's get cracking on our very first skyscrapers. Now, couple of other decisions have actually happened that we need to bear in mind when we build the skyscrapers. Where should we want to have the monuments, and where do I want to have my palace? Because the palace needs a lot of space. Now, I've actually installed a new mod that came out not too long ago that significantly increases the range of the palace. So I do now have a new location for the palace. We are making it in the Crown Falls, of course, the Crown Falls Palace. And with all the modules upgraded, it should reach the whole island then, but that is another project. So we now know where the palace is. I now know where also the Iron Tower is going to reside. So the Iron Tower is going to be in this location here, most likely. So we could already go ahead here and, yeah, get rid of these houses there. But I'm just getting ahead of myself here. Let's start with the skyscrapers. We have our introductory mission for that. So with enough elevators in stock, nothing is standing in the way of building your first skyscraper. Upgrades them. We need to have engineer and investor skyscrapers. That's really important. And then we actually face a little problem because down here we get lots of engineers. Most of them don't have electricity, right? So that is one thing that these guys here need if I want to upgrade them. How can we give them electricity? Well, we do have a power station here. We do have a power station here. And unfortunately, just in this tiny corner, we don't. We do, however, have some tracks here. So another power station is possible in this area, though, of course, not very good looking. So what I will need to do is I will need to move this power plant there a bit over to this area here. We should still, or we are still able to reach most of the people here. I can have another power plant then down here if I want to for this whole district there. Unfortunately, the range of these guys is not very big, and we still reach also with that location these people here that we do need to reach eventually then as well. So that should be working out. The only thing that I will need to do now is I'm going to move these poor investors just for a tiny second to that area so we can move the power station over to this area. I'm going to make this one like so. Right, there we have it. Then we need to get rid, of course, of these roads here, and we should be able of not, we should not need to destroy too many houses there, I think. Actually, I don't think any house at all. Let's just move the tracks now. I'm going to move the tracks here, and then in here. It's a bit messy there, to be honest. And then basically just into that one. Actually, let's make this one here. Right up. So we can still now reach this house there. And actually, this is looking pretty cool there with this plaza there, just where we have the tracks then. Here we can make a connection as well. Right? And this one, unfortunately, is not possible. But I think, yep, all the houses still have their connection. And we can also now squeeze in 2 more investor houses into this location there once more. Right? So there I can have one. Just here. And then here. So this is actually looking a bit historical, to be honest, because it's so mixed together, right? And this is something that I like in particular from these details. When something is looking that messy, it's just fine. It's really fine. There we have a bit of space. We can still add a fountain if we want to. I would like to go with the long one, right, that we have then just here. And there we have another road that goes into this corner there of this house there, because this also just makes sense. We could have some trees there, but we don't need trees everywhere. I could, however, have some trees here, right, around the power plant then. This one already received its electricity, so it is working already. Let's make the connection there as well. It has the connection all around it. Right up. And it should now reach all of these guys here. Perfect. And with that, we can now upgrade, well, at least some engineers. Let's go ahead. We have lots of building materials. Let's go ahead with the first skyscrapers finally after that bit of planning there. As we can see, ooh, that would be a lot. Let's go ahead with this block here as our first one. There you go. Our first skyscrapers in Crown Falls, and also the first engineers. Those guys here. There we have them. I especially do love the engineer skyscrapers. And this is tier 1 out of tier 5. So 5 tiers, they go really high, of course, with all of their different needs and modules that we can add to them now. Their first good would be a department store, the service that we need. Also, Donnie is telling us about the shopping arcades that we can build now, finally. And I would like to go ahead, instead of doing that, I'm going to build us a few more skyscrapers. So we got a few more here for the engineers, right, that I can add. And then we can also go ahead with more investor skyscrapers. So here, there is a block, there is a block, and there is a block. As these guys are coming out. They're not that much taller than the previous version, but it's only tier 1, of course. As this one is now coming into play. I think we could also, yep, with the university upgrade, we can also upgrade those artisans here to engineers, and those artisans here to engineers. Let's also do that. That's looking fine. It's looking so much more dynamic. We do have, by the way, here this church that I might want to move, because it really dwarfs in comparison to the skyscrapers around it, and at some point it just doesn't fit in anymore. And what we can really add here instead of the church, well, is the need that we need for it, and that is the department store, so the shopping arcade. This one offers toasters, vacuum cleaners, crockery, refrigerators, and briefcases to all the and skyscrapers that we have around. It's also looking really cool, I think. It just fits in so nicely. And the cool thing here about this one is that we also have the bus station next to it, because it's also a requirement for the bus station, and thus increasing the happiness of the tourists. Very nice. In the back here we have another smaller entrance, and then we could actually add some of these cherry trees. Just close enough, right? So there we have a department store right next to the variety theater. Let's go ahead and upgrade us a few more skyscrapers. So there we can have them in the back. I like these blocks there especially. I'm not going to upgrade here because that's probably where we're going to have the skyline tower that I'm going to add then at some point. Let's go ahead and have these guys here upgraded. There's another block. Perfect. I don't even know how many resources we have. I don't think I need to show timber. Instead of timber, we're going to call in now the elevators that we have them, because they are pretty vital in order to know how many more I can upgrade. Since every single one of these here costs me. We could also go ahead and upgrade this whole bunch there. And these blocks there. And then probably this block. This. And then some more engineers. And bear in mind, this is only tier 1. We are of course not having all of them the same height. So eventually over time they all get different heights according to their tier system. Let's have these guys there still upgraded. Then we have some more engineers. We will need engineers as well. All the things. Righto. And look at that. How it really changes the skyline of that city. There we can still have another block. And they're really expensive, by the way. We just saved up a lot of elevators and we can afford us to speed it up there a bit. Some more engineers and some more investors here. Very nice. This one I really like to keep. I have no idea how right now how big the skyline tower is anymore. I think we can upgrade. We can safely upgrade these here. That should be fine. There you go. That's really it for now. What we now need for the department store is the first product that we offer, and it is the toasters, of course. Let's just have a look into the toasters, what they do. This fully automated breakfast machine is apparently calibrated perfectly for the toast that's just right. Simply pop in a slice and wait. We do need quite a lot of things here. We do need zinc, we do need filaments, and we do need steel. The cool thing is we actually do have them available already, and they have some nice bonus effects. First of all, negative consumption for light bulbs and jewelry, also plus 5% tax income for all the houses, plus 2 happiness on top of that. Let's go ahead and select the toaster as the first product. And what we have right now here is the warehouse over there already, right? This one is needed for the restaurant, and it's getting its resources from over there now. So that we have that. We're just waiting now a short amount of time, and look at the range of this department store. It can really take in the whole district down here, and those investors and those skyscrapers, they will need that. There we have that. Need department store, right? And only when all their needs are fulfilled, we are able to upgrade them to tier 2, right? And then new demands pop up. So it's basically a whole new population that we're building up here now. And the toaster is in, ladies and gents. It also has its electricity. So those people should be now fully pumped for department store. How very perfect. How is it looking with the quest? There we have it. We need now to wait 45 seconds with this sustain of the department store for all of these guys here. And while we wait on that, well, we could also have a quick walk through the skyscrapers and look at how the city changes. It is incredible, especially on these big avenues. This is where they come really to shine now. And then there's also on the left the department store coming up. Absolutely epic looking, really fantastic. Meanwhile, some more attacks are coming down here onto these ships. My collier also arrived, so we can now add these plate exchanges, for example, to those ships. Let's just see, we got 12,000 HP points on it now. And now I'm going to add one of these here to that ship, for example. And there we have it, 15,500. So really a nice boost to their HP. Let's just add it to all of these here. And I think this one we can too. Perfect. And then perhaps also some of these plates there. What are you guys doing? So that it can also sustain a bit more, and plus another 40% hit points. I wonder, does it take the 40% now off the 15k or off the base 12k that we have? Let's add this one. There you go, 15.5. And we've also reached the next level, by the way, because of course the skyscrapers can hold more people in it. 20,000, another 5k on top of that. Really mega. Let's go ahead. Shopping catalog we need to expand as well. So we have finished the next quest there. First of all, we do have now the next introductory quest. You've built your first level skyscrapers, but why stop there? Donald wants you to go even higher. Upgrade to level 2. Also, once again, for engineers and for investors. And the engineers actually want something else, I think. Obsessed with the shopping arcade's promise of profit, Donald Bader tasks you with commandeering office space amidst the existing engineer apartments for a so-called market research lab. He wants to develop new patents there. Alright, that is another one. So upgrade an engineer residence. Oh, any engineer residence, right? Where he wants to establish that. Let's just have a look around. Please let me have another one. There we have something. Perfect. And with that we have built it. And now we need to build a gazebo plaza next to an engineer skyscraper in Crown Falls. And we should also be able to get to tier 2 there pretty soon, because people are moving in, as we can see. So I think there's around 25 more people, yes, 25 more investors per building that comes on top of tier 1 skyscrapers. Meanwhile, we can also finally finish the embassy. So the last phase has been finished. Let's go ahead and finish it. And boom, in all its glory, a new monument has been finished. And by far, it's not the last one. Holy cow. I do have some new monuments ready there as well that we will have a look at then shortly. So let's have this one. And I think we can just have it right beside the street. The embassy is finished. The queen seemed confused while holding opening speech. Diplomatic negotiations started with multiple factions, and more on page 3. Right, so this embassy now in all its glory. Next to it, we might just be adding more houses then, to be honest, right? So we could have them like that. The embassy has already a fence and a garden around it, so there's no real need to just add more to it. We can have the road then around it, and then I will still need to think about new ornaments here then. Or, well, actually, yeah, we could also just have some houses there. I will probably need to move some engineers and investors up there anyway soon. There's still some empty spots here as well that we can now fill in, so with some elm trees here perhaps. Also here in the gaps between, we also have some more here. I think this one there. Oh no, actually there is something already. Perfect. Then it's really just fountains that are missing in here. I think only one though. That should be fine. There's also some workers here still that need to be upgraded now. Now bear in mind, we actually lost some money there right now. Those skyscrapers on tier 1 are not really profitable from what I can see. Their maintenance cost is higher than their income. So I think only with tier 2 and tier 3 they will become really profitable. So at the moment they're an investment, but the cool thing is we can already go for the next stage, and we should be doing that. Of course, none of them have the panoramic effect right now. That is also adding it then on top of that. So the level value that we have, and the panoramic effect basically says that if a tier 2 skyscraper is surrounded by tier 1 skyscrapers, it gets its panorama effect. And if a tier 3 is surrounded by tier 2 or tier 1, it also gets it, right? So that these towers can watch above each other. For now, I'm just going to flat out upgrade the next ones to level 2. So we can do this right away, and look at how bigger they get already. We also received a warning letter. We don't really care about that. Oh my goodness. Perhaps we care about that. There is the Bader. I apologize for dramatic imagery and citation, but I really feel compelled to caution you on your present disregard for the health and safety of employees at your construction sites. In addition, I have reason to believe you are bending important building regulations. Alright, he doesn't seem to be too concerned about that. Our Donnie. Alright, we do want to have now 2 intense panoramic effects that should be working for us. So I do, after all, need to have them. There we have one, there we have another one, and there we have one. They should receive it now. Perfect, and there it is, intense. And look at how it boosts it to 4,600 on the income, so each one of them now makes me 2,000 in addition, right? The basic one doesn't, but the tier 2, they do that. If they don't have that panorama effect, they are not producing any money for us. They actually cost me money. So this is pretty important to know about that. It's really, really impactful on the income. So I'm only going to do it for a couple of buildings now that we have on level 2 then to profit from this panorama effect. And of course, you know, we can then upgrade these buildings eventually over time to tier 3, tier 5, and the other ones to tier 3 and 4 and stuff like that. So there we have now lots of new panorama effects coming in. And this should boost my money there once again. Perfect. I don't want to be idle with other developments of the city, so we are also completely upgrading all of these farmers here now to workers. We can afford that when it comes to the workforce. Reason for that is this area here should also be pretty high quality, because after all we are going to have the palace in this area. Of course, the tracks are not going to go all the way up here, so we might stop here then and have a power plant in this area that also might affect then the production buildings up there, something like that, or we just get rid of the production buildings at all, and then we have one huge giant avenue that goes then to the palace, right, and it ends then here with a beautiful big garden around it. This is then the track system. Probably will even let it finish here already. The palace, as far as I know, doesn't need electricity really, so we can just really have this one being finished as one big one, and here it probably ends, or it actually goes a whole track then into this production district that we're going to keep, of course, because we need all these products. Now let's have a quick look at my investors and my skyscrapers in general. We have now tier 2. Tier 2 needs the chewing gums and the biscuits, 2 new products, and both of them, well, can be crafted or constructed or whatever, cooked. The biscuits can be made in the chemical plant and in the assembly line, right? So we already have the buildings for that. The only thing is, well, we don't have the resources for that, but let's just have a quick look at them, what they need. So the biscuits, we actually have most of it. We have the tallow, we have the flour, but we don't have citrus, and that is the new vault. And the chewing gums, they need caoutchouc, we have that, sugar, we have that, but cinnamon, oh, we actually also have cinnamon and it's coming in, but I don't think it's going to be enough. So let's just quickly go to Viga. Over here we have our coconut production. Oh, we are full actually, and there's the cinnamon. I think I will need to add a second airship to this route, because one airship is not going to be enough. It's full, the storage is almost full. And then we can have, yep, basically we could have a whole lot more orchards here. I would still like to place as many orchards on one as possible. And citrus should be possible here as well. There it is, citrus. We do, by the way, need 1 biscuit per minute right now with all these skyscrapers, so I think a maximum of 4 to 8 will be the long-term goal, right, that we can have here if I upgrade more and more skyscrapers. We're only in this block here so far. 1 assembly line produces 4 per minute. That's a lot, so we'll need as a maximum 2 assembly lines for the biscuits, so those here. That also in return means one of them can support, 2 citrus plantations can support 4 actually do need for 1 assembly line, so need a maximum of 8 citrus farms, though that is really a lot, so I don't think we're ever going to need that much. 8 of them. I'm still going with 8 though, because it's just a safe spot, right? We have plenty of space here. I could also use this area, and we're probably going to use this area for the citrus, especially since those here for the chocolate will not be expanded that much anymore. So 8 it is. Let's just try to get them in here as many as possible, and I hope the beach kind of like counts for it as well. There we have that, there we have another one, and I think, and there we have the 8. It's already here, perfect. So 8 citrus we have now, and that leads me to the next one. Camphor wax is actually something, but I will also of course need more cinnamon. We have 4 cinnamon on this island right now, so I will need to double this with another 4. That's probably something I'm going to do up here. That's going to be tricky though. Not the best area really to build orchards. I can have one here. I can squeeze in another one here by the gold. 99% is fine, and then we have another 100% up there as well. It's going to take us a lot of timber as well with all of these bridges that I'm going to add. This one and this one. Perfect. And there we have also the cinnamons that we need. Perfect. There we have them now. So there's the cinnamon coming up. And then, of course, all 8 of them. Can we build all 8 of them? That's 70 timber, 70 tons of bricks. Let's make it 4 for now, because I don't think we're going to need more than that. Righto. So that's, of course, another trade route. Fortunately, we already have a trade route that goes with the cinnamon and the coconut oil. And I'm going to reduce the amount of coconut oil that we are transporting here. Cinnamon will stay the same, so coconut 1. And then we're going to take the citrus here in it as well right away. And I'm going to add a second airship now to this area, and that's golden behind. That is already waiting in Crown Folds there too. Unfortunately, I cannot afford any other ships at the moment, so airships will do the trick. Once we have a bit more influence again, I will then use, of course, big cargo ships, especially once the volume goes up for these orchards. It's going to take a while now for them here to grow their, well, their trees, I guess. And in Crown Falls, we should now be seeing an airship leaving. There it is. Perfect. On its way now, getting us more resources. And then we can also finish the next plants here, actually, and that's the assembly line and the chemical plant. Perfect. How is my ships looking? They're looking fine. They're ready for action, actually. I think my white flag ship has arrived also here with the boosting that we can then do to the chemical plant. 50% productivity increase. And also on top of that, saltpeter, tallow and dynamite production. And then we got some additional productivity boosters as well. I'm going to send Electra back to RG to purchase us a few more items. And with that, well, we just prepare our next steps for the skyscrapers. Stay tuned.